Listen close, we rise up from the ashes, digging for the truth, breaking old habits. We marching with the nesters, they laid the foundation, passed down revelation, sparked our motivation. In a world of facades, we peeling back the layers. Truth is the weapon that cuts through all the fakers. Phonets in our chest, reborn from deception. Eyes wide open, no room for misdirection. Every step we take, we honor the connection between past and present, forging our resurrection. Phoenix rises in truth, setting us free from the lies that they feed. We reclaim our beliefs, thinking differently, we'll break every chain. We dance for freedom, case by case, again. We cultivate vision, planting seeds of awareness, challenge the narrative, break out of the harness, digging deep for knowledge, unearthing the hidden. Our minds are the soil where the future is written, no longer confined by the scripts they prescribe. We write our own story, let the real one subscribe. One voice becomes many, together we rally. Freedom's not a concept, it's a move and a tally. Case, we break the cage. Dog by dog, we shift the stage. Phoenix rises in truth, setting us free from the lies that they feed. We reclaim our beliefs, thinking differently, we'll break every chain. We dance for freedom, case by case, again. Rise up, speak out, watch the new world breathe.
Brian has been essentially convicted in the media. He has a right to have this information withheld, brought out in public, so that people can see it's not this neat little package. So people can start to wonder if Brian's innocent. Your Honor, Brian is innocent. So if I talk about things that are in the affidavit, and if I talk about things that we're seeking that the state wants to hide, I think that's fair game for the public to hear.
Fair game for the public to hear. You know, this is one of the most powerful clips that, yes, I will never not play it. Because this was the one powerful clip that got me about what the state wanted to hide. Welcome you all to Phoenix Talks. I'm Phoenix. I'm your host today. And this is going to be a fabulous Wednesday. In fact, it's already November the 5th, 2025. I cannot believe right around the corner is going to be December. And then we're going to ring in the new year of 2026. How wild is that? Y'all, this year has gone by so fast. I mean, if you've had a challenge of a year and it seems like it's gone by slow, I am so sorry. Because I will tell you, some years for me have seemed like they were extremely slow. And some years seem like they just flew by like super fast. And I know the busier we get, the faster a year flies by. But when your whole world slows down and you're like, okay, You know, I wish November would get here. I wish December would get here. I was in the store yesterday and I sparked up a conversation with this lady who was so freaking excited for Christmas, y'all. I can't begin to tell you how excited she was. She was like, I can't wait to put up my lights. I can't wait to decorate. My husband can do all the rest, and he can even pay the electricity bill. I was dying laughing. But I will tell you, how many people are excited or getting excited for the holidays? They are going to be here before you know it. It is going to fly by so fast. You're going to be like, what? I am ready to rewind and go back and let's redo this again. That's where I'm at. So, welcome every single one of you to this live this afternoon. I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. Anonymous Reckoning says, I leave my lights out front year round. They're pretty. I agree. I feel like the presidential inauguration was a couple months ago. It seems like it's so fast. I'm not excited. It's going to be bad for a lot of people. I am so sorry. I am not sorry to say. Well, no matter how you feel about the holidays, they're going to come and go. So just know it's gonna be a wild ride. So, today I'm going to talk about a few things that some people may know, some people may not know, and it may shock a few of you. And I want you all to come in and feel invited here. We are not looking to boot anyone unless you get really rude or crude or cringe. Then we will say later, have a good day and be well and kick you to the curb. So y'all know me. I have been following the Idaho 4 case. There are other cases that I do follow that I am going to be digging back into because, I was I was at the thrift store of all places. I turn around in the book section because I was looking for a good book. I turn around and I see a book, The Murder of Laci Peterson. And I'm thinking to myself, this book has got to be so freaking old. You know what? Let me see when it was printed. It was first printing was in July of 2003. Okay. And I thought, you know what? There might be something good in here that I've never learned before. And lo and behold, y'all, I can't believe some of the pictures that are in this book. I have never seen these pictures before, ever. And I'm going to share a few with you. So get ready for that. And, I am just baffled at some of these pictures. And I'm baffled at some of the information. I'm halfway through the book. And I can't believe that they even put a semi-nude picture of Amber Frey in this book. I am like, what? Yeah. She's pictured here during a risque photo session she carried on a torrid affair with Scott Peterson. And they talk about his double life and they talk about a couple of other things. They just had some really good photos in this too. I was like, whoa, I was shocked. I love looking online thrift. Yeah, some places they do have, Goodwill does have online thrifting, but something that's interesting in here is there is a chapter 16, the courts, and I'll be going over that. There's, a little detail in there, but this book blew me away. And I turn around and I see another book on the same subject, $1.29, guys, no joke. And it says Inside the Mind of Scott Peterson. And I'm thinking to myself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has 6 pictures on the front of him with different color hair in each, some facial hair, some none, and the same smirk on his face. And so I'll read that one. That's by some doctor. He's America's most well-known forensic psychiatrist and consults on court TV. Keith Alblo, MD. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dig into that. I'm going to pull out the best. There's some great pictures in this one too. And so if you've got any good Scott Peterson, Lacey Peterson stories, we're going to go and we're going to revisit some of these with these new books. New to me books, I should say. And that book was published. The first printing of that book was in 2005. So the one I've got is 2003 and 2005. Things I've never known before. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about a couple of things we've never known before. And we're going to talk about this crazy, hold on a minute. Crazy. Did you guys know about the bubblegum DNA? The bubblegum DNA at 1122 King Road. Yep, the bubblegum DNA. We're going to talk about it. I haven't seen anyone talk about it. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background in regards to this picture right here. So, what do you guys want to hear? The Phoenix Fireball first? Or do you want to hear about something you may have never heard before? So, type of 1 for bubblegum DNA. Type of 2 for something you've never heard before. Maybe. Some of you all probably have. Most of all of you, maybe never. 2, something you've never heard before is coming in hot. Okay. All right. Tell you what. Let's do somebody said my choice. This is a really hard one, guys, because it's a toughie. It's a shocky. It's totally a shocker. Okay. Let's do the bubblegum DNA first. It's a kind of a split mix. I see some 2s. Never heard the bubblegum? All right. Well, if you've never heard the bubblegum, let's head in for the big bubblegum DNA today. And let's talk about it. Because there was a little bit of bubblegum DNA in this case, and it was left in around the house. And I'm trying to bring up the document. So, where do you think this bubblegum was? I was a little fascinated with this, probably a little too much. Bubblegum DNA. Take a wild guess. The bubblegum is new to you. Okay. Well, maybe the information that I have is good for everyone. Gum in wrapper. Gum in wrapper. Okay. So, this gum in the wrapper, see this little tiny red speck here? Bubblegum DNA would be a good book title. Absolutely. This little tiny piece of DNA on this bubblegum, somebody chewed this gum, put it back in the wrapper, and it was in the backpack. Backpack. Yes, indeed. It was in the backpack, guys. What backpack? Well, let's guess. What backpack do you think?
Phoenix rise, I'm dropping truth like a flame. Burning through the lies, never playing the same. Fireball, spit heat, watch the sparks ignite. 10 seconds of real, light up the night. Phoenix rise, I'm dropping truth like a flame. Burning through the lies, never playing the same. Fireball, spit heat, watch the sparks ignite. 10 seconds of real, light up the night. Phoenix rise, I'm dropping truth like a flame. Burning through the lies, never playing the same. Fireball, spit heat, watch the sparks ignite. 10 seconds of real, light up the night. Phoenix rise, I'm dropping truth like a flame.
Okay, I'm dropping truth like a flame. The black backpack in the living room. Whoop, whoop. Hey, welcome in. So, yes, the actual backpack I'm going to share with you is right here. And that is item 67.1 right here. This backpack, it says 67.1 gum wrapper inside the backpack. They swabbed the backpack, they swabbed the shoulder strap, the handle loop, the right shoulder strap of the backpack, the fabric zipper. They swabbed everything on this backpack. Every little bit. Yeah, they did the cans. They got the DNA off the cans too. Yes, they did. Absolutely. I'm trying to make this a little bit larger for you. There you go. And what did they find out? Well, yep, there were two different backpacks, but this one was item 67. Well, let me do the gum first because that's 67.1. And 67.1, let's see where it leads us down this rabbit hole. They did the beer cans. They did all that good stuff. They did DNA cuttings from the items. Yeah, they cut this backpack up. Okay. And so it says, get this one. No DNA testing was performed on the gum. What? No DNA testing was performed on the gum. Take a minute to digest that one, y'all. Yeah. Why are they not testing all DNA in a quadruple homicide? Did they not want to know the DNA? Or did they just playing right in front of our faces saying, ha, this isn't even a real case? And no testing was performed, and they returned all items to the submitting agencies. Taylor Malachek was the forensic scientist, and they returned it on 1/10/23. They got $1 million and didn't test anything. Yep. Didn't test anything beyond when it came back that Kohberger, it was, say it for me, folks, not his DNA. This ain't the first time no testing was done, says Caleb, and I agree. Why? Dina, no flipping way. Every time I get into this document and I find something new, I think this is really crazy. I agree with you, Yvonne. They could have tested it and didn't document it. Well, it says no DNA testing was performed on this item, and all the evidence was returned to the submitting agency. So tell me how they could have documented and tested it when this agency is the agency that they work with to test. Period. Yeah, except the damn knife sheath. You're right. And it was wrong too. A chunk of that state grant, more than half, went to consultants. Yep. I thought I heard today they didn't test the snap. If that's the case, it's an illegal test if not documented. Right? I've never heard of this. Well, I've heard of this before. It went to consultants. I've never seen anything, and I know that they were doing an investigation on the accounts. So 67.1 says right here, no DNA testing was performed. It says it right here again. DNA, yada, yada, yada. Reason for change, updated description. Audit log. There again. It was changed. It was changed. Deleted assignment, item link, lab number 67.1. Did Anne know about bubblegum? Did AT have bubblegum tested? I sure hope they had all this third party tested. I have never seen that. It says bio-suspected biostain, swab miscellaneous. There is the chain of custody report on that bubblegum. Gum and wrapper, that was it. Item 67.1 was sampled for DNA collection, but it was forwarded for DNA analysis. It'll report on a separate report. All remaining items have been returned. So, like I've said from day one, reading these reports, they're not conclusional. There is no conclusions given in these reports. No blood was on the backpacks. No blood on the gum wrapper. Swab of the handle. Back straps. Yeah. That's it. That was it. Now, one thing that I will say, they did get all the DNA on the beer cans. 66.1 was very interesting, right? They looked at the beer cans. They got plenty of diagrams in here. There are plenty of pictures where they've got them. They swabbed them, but they never give us conclusive tests, which is interesting because I thought that's what their job was to do, to investigate. But when you look at the time frames, they already had somebody arrested. They hurried up, ran them through the court system. Well, actually, I should say jury hearing, a grand jury hearing. Didn't go the court system route and basically said he was guilty without hearing any evidence, even though they had already had some of this in the process of being tested on 11/20/22, almost 30 days before they arrested Brian Kohberger. They already knew his DNA may not be anywhere in this house, but they still arrested him. They still arrested him. Yeah, they looked for DNA. They looked for latent prints. They got all this information. They ran this one through the MBIS, and there were no candidates for any of these fingerprints on these beer cans. Now, in my humble opinion, being in a small town and having a party full of kids, college kids, they're still, your brain's not fully formed until age 26. And remember, those people on the grand jury are people in your town, like maybe business people, mayors, city council members, people of high trust. High trust. So there was nothing that we know of that was sent to Orthram. Now remember, IgG is a good way to determine DNA. Now, I don't know what Ann Taylor tested privately because hopefully they did. And in my humble opinion, IgG, remember, that is investigative genetic genealogy. Someone can do the DNA and say this is the genetic history of the person that you're looking for. The I is the most important part, and that is investigation. Who's doing the investigation, and where is that investigating leading you to? And is it how are the people doing the investigation part held accountable, held with some checks and balances? Because that profile, it can be given to you, like, let's say a list of 10 names, right? Close to that profile. But it's your job to go out as a detective and investigate that part of the investigative genetic genealogy. That doesn't mean that those 10 names, you have to go out and still investigate, meaning that you have to still go back and find the right perpetrator or perpetrators. It's not like they come back and they just give you one person. It's not how it works. Okay? They narrow it down. They give you 10 people. You go out and narrow it down and see who's in the area, possibly any, public information, maybe where they were at the time they were, do some investigating locally, and then narrow it down to your best suspect, your best person of interest. That's how you do it. IGG is basically, I can understand what you're saying. IGG is basically cheating. It's meant for cold cases. I think it can be used in both, in my humble opinion. It's not just for cold cases. Okay? If you want to technically say this case was cold 20 days later, I would have to agree. But I don't think this case was cold, in my humble opinion. I feel, and it is my opinion, the college knew. It is my opinion, the police knew. It is my opinion, the people in authority and in charge knew. They knew. And they knew by the time they got these reports back from forensics. And by the time they started doing forensics, they needed somebody's name. Okay? They needed somebody's name to take the fall. And it had to be someone from outside. Now, do we know that Kohberger is maybe with a 3-letter agency or a 6-letter agency or undercover CI or something? Have no idea. No idea. But I will say that the authority, they used this technology in a wrong manner. Now, that's just my humble opinion. And the freedom of speech in our country is we can give our opinions. I mean, you guys can voice your opinion. I can give you my theory. We can share each other's theory. But at the end of the day, what these documents tell us is that they knew, in my humble opinion. Okay? So if you go and you keep looking at these documents and you're saying, okay, where's the smoking gun that Kohberger is so freaking guilty that they arrested him? There was none. I still don't see one. If you find one, definitely let somebody know. I'm still digging through these documents thinking I'm going to find a smoking gun for Kohberger. It's here. I know it's here. I am looking for a needle in a haystack because they didn't just come up and said, oh, here's the document. We got him red-handed. No, the Idaho State Police said, no, couldn't link him. We really tried to put him at the scene. Couldn't even put him at the scene, people. Couldn't even put him at the scene. So when they say, yeah, we swabbed the bubble gum, we swabbed the beer cans, we swabbed all these things, and nothing ever became of it. Nothing. Not even one iota of, hey, it could have possibly been X, Y, and Z in these documents. They just were all swabbed for DNA. There's no conclusive data in here except for one. Except for one. And that was they forgot to redact John Showalter's name. Now, I don't know why, but they did. They did. They swabbed Kohberger's dad's DNA they got from the trash. Remember the 4 bags of trash? They swabbed it and basically said none of these were Kohberger. None of these swabs, none of it was Kohberger. So was there anything in here that said, yes, something linked Kohberger? Haven't found it yet. If you find it, let me know. I'm interested. They know who the backpack is. They know. And I sure hope Anne tested it. So the black Janisport backpack, tag on the inside, main pocket, labeled in part, yada, 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 yada. Test negative for blood. So there was no blood on this backpack. The gum wrapper, they were able to get some DNA off the gum wrapper. Here's the gum wrapper again. The gum wrapper obviously had DNA inside the gum. But why didn't they test it? And we have to ask ourselves, why didn't they test it? They sprayed these jackets down that could have possibly told us whose blood it was, that there was blood DNA. Nope. Not there. Not there. Jack Showalter's apartment tested positive, presumptive for blood. They look into it and it's his own blood. How odd is that? And now the DNA on the gum, nah, maybe never tested. Maybe not. In this case, every single day, more and more that I read these documents look like nobody did it. Is that even a possibility? That nobody did this? Has anybody thought of that before? It's crossed my mind quite some time over the last, I don't know, week or so. Was this really a true case? Was this really, or was this just a distraction to keep us all busy and moving along, trying to hate on someone and fuel the fire and hate on the police, all that stuff? I mean, what is all this? So, beer cans, check. Backpack, check. Nothing. No blood. Swab the area. Got a little bit of DNA off of it. Didn't want to test it because they were covering up to do their job. If they sprayed the training version of Blue Star on the jacket, that could destroy the DNA. Absolutely. And they had to talk with the DNA expert to see if they were going to be able to save any DNA at all off of that jacket. But it was presumptive, just a tiny bit on the button. And they might have been able to get some DNA off the zipper. AT didn't test anything. She couldn't. It was lost in the fridge. Now, that is a good point you bring up, Yvonne. But remember, ISP took their own samples. They did have some samples. Now, the samples that Moscow Police Department gave them before the whole fridge debacle, they might have had samples on hand and retained them. But most of these documents are saying that, I'm sure you guys are going to catch on to this, most of the documents are saying in this, all the evidence was returned to Moscow. Yep. They returned all the evidence in every single chain of custody here after it was tested, and if no DNA was requested and nothing was sent further, they returned everything chain of custody back to MPD. So that means once ISP got it, they were told how to do it, what to test, and to send it all back. So this was like this case may have never happened. When you start looking into it, absolutely, Inked Mama, they put up impossible roadblocks left and right. We saw that. We saw that today in the hearing. Hitler cut Miss M off, Miss Master off, didn't want to hear what she had to say factually and legally. He can't just adjourned court, was like a little kid upset that he had gotten beaten. Now, that's in my humble opinion, okay? But if you see something like this, what does this list remind you of? I know that I show this list all the time. This is my go-to list, guys. What does this list look like to you? I mean, I showed it to you this morning. I'll show it to you again. It looks like my list of what MPD put together of the possible people that were involved. This list, the evidence was accepted on 12/13. This list right here in the ISP, I'm cutting out, okay, looks like this list. Look at all these names on here that were mentioned or were involved. And it kind of looks like perhaps these two lists may be same people on each list that they were trying to either rule out, but they never changed them because they said they were involved. Now, hopefully I'm back. If somebody can type a 1, I know you said I cut out, but hopefully you can hear me great. So these lists look very, very similar. I'm confused. Why are they involved people? Why aren't they? Why aren't they? This list could possibly mimic this list. And I always said, unless I find something that's public, I am not going to speak on it until I see it's public. And I saw something that was finally made public. Now, I don't ever want to be the first one if we can make mistakes, right? Never want to dox anyone, never want to say anything the wrong. Okay. So if somebody else puts it out there besides me, I'm going to definitely use and share the content. And finally, somebody caught on. Okay. And when you see somebody that catches on, and I don't think she deleted it. Let me grab it. Hold on. I don't think she deleted it. Where is it? I saw it last week and I thought, here it is. Okay. I know some of you do not like Booking with B. I like her content. I like what she has to say, and I like what some of the things that she brings. It's just raw and real. Okay. There is a video she put out, and let's watch it for a second. And then you're going to be able to understand why I didn't put it out. I wasn't going to be on the chopping block, but she did verify who I thought was AA on my list. Okay. And once I saw that, I was like, should I share it now? And I waited a few days. She put this out about a week ago. And I wanted to make sure before I said anything that it was legitimate, right? Because I have looked at this guy before. I kind of filled in the blanks, but it just wasn't public until I found some public things. Now, AA is alleged to be Austin, is it Agdidius? And that with GK and LM, absolutely. So Austin Agdidius is the alleged individual, the chicken guy, cut his hands, dropped, cut his hand, dropped and hit a window. And I don't know if they ever got his documentation back from medical. I know that the medical director of Gitman was supposed to testify and be a witness at the trial. Again, they could have easily just buried the information. Let's watch Booking with B in this video because it is a great video.
So here's a refresher. When I did my live, a lot of people were asking who's the chicken guy. So this is the guy that allegedly cut his hand. So let's go back over this document. On 11/15/2022, at approximately 11:50 hours, Austin Gideus, was that maybe how you say it? I'm not sure. Came into the substation to speak to me. I was told by Corporal Payne, Austin went to Gritman on 11/13/2022 to seek medical care for cuts on his hand. I asked Austin what happened to his hand. He stated on 11/12/2022 at around 2:20 hours, he cut his hand attempting to cut chicken for a sandwich. Austin stated he was intoxicated, and when he was trying to cut the meat, his pocket knife slipped and cut his hand. I asked when he went to the hospital. He read the wristband from the hospital and said he went in on the 13th at 2:00 hours. Okay, so we actually don't know when Austin cut his hand because he waited to go to the emergency room. So I just want to point out in this document that this does not mean that Austin cut his hand when he said he cut his hand around 8:00 or whatever time, 20, I always get messed up on military time. What time, when and where did he cut his hand?
So right here, she's speaking of 11:50 is 11:50 afternoon. It's not nighttime military time, or else it would be 23:50. So it says he stated around 8:00 at night, 2000 is 8:00 at night. He cut his hand attempting to cut chicken for a sandwich.
Because he didn't go to the hospital until 2:00 on the 13th. Austin told me he lived at the blank house. The laceration was on his right hand. Well, this says the laceration, but up here it says cuts on his hand. So the laceration was on his right hand. He sent me a photograph of the injury and I attached it to the case. I asked Austin if he knew of any of the victims. He stated he had seen Ethan 2 times at parties, but did not know any of the other females. I want to call BS because this is the upteenth time that somebody has said, oh, I don't know anybody. I saw Ethan a couple of times, but I don't know anybody. I'm doubting that, okay? I'm doubting every single person that is connected to this case stating that they do not know the females that lived in this house. Yes, you did. Okay, let's see here. It says, he did not. Okay, he said the blank sister house was blank. He said it was a national standard, but he had friends from multiple sororities. Austin ran me through his weekend from Saturday morning. He stated he slept in Saturday morning, 11/12/2022, and woke up around 9:30 hours. Austin said he went to the tree house, which was a blank outhouse located at blank Taylor Avenue. I think that's 500 Taylor Avenue. And then it says he said he spent the whole day there watching the game. He said he left the treehouse at around 19:30 hours and went back to the blank on blank Elm Street. He said he was drinking all night and finally went to bed on 11/13/2022 at around 4 o'clock hours. So, when did you go to the hospital and when did you? Austin said he was with his friends LM and Kate and Kelly all night. Austin provided me with M's phone number. Officer Rosinski talked to M later at the blank house. M said he and Austin were walking down the stairs at the blank house when Austin missed a step and fell into the window. M said at the time neither he nor Austin saw any blood. M said that Austin was cutting chicken and he saw the injury. According to M, Austin was extremely intoxicated and he thought he cut his hand while cutting the chicken, but M believed he cut it on the glass. Now, a few things that I want to point out here is if you are extremely intoxicated, your blood is thinner and it is going to bleed a lot. So if you have a huge slice on your hand that you're going to notice later on with blood all over the place, what happened to the original bleeding? So you were just walking and dripping, your hand was just dripping blood and no one saw or knew. And when you fell into the window, you broke the window. So you then didn't realize that you had this gaping wound on your hand until you went back home and pulled out your pocket knife and started cutting chicken. And then you looked down and saw that you had a gaping cut to the point that you needed to go to the hospital. Okay. Austin said he was willing to sign a consent form for medical records if we needed them. Austin said he could not remember if he cut his hand on the window or with the knife. Austin said his friends told him to go to the hospital to make sure there was not glass in his hand. I went with Austin to the blank house. He showed me the window they found broken. I photographed the window and attached it to the case. Okay, is that it? That's all we did? Did we take Austin's DNA? Did we see if the blood matched any of the blood that we saw smeared all over all of the places? We've got blood smeared all over the place. We've got blood at this apartment, blood at this apartment, blood on this wall. Did we really seal this up and make sure that Austin really cut his hand on a window or on a piece of chicken, or cutting a piece of chicken? Well, I'm confused. So again, this is Chicken Hand Guy. This is who I was talking about in my life, because this is extremely fishy. Where is the confirmation of any of this? Yes, of course you pulled the hospital records, but did you triple check to make sure that when he went into the emergency room, he said, hey, I fell into a glass window and I cut my hand? Or did he say, hey, I cut my hand on cutting chicken? Like, I'm confused if we even confirmed anything, because Austin could have gone to the hospital and given them any 1 billion reasons as to how he cut his hand. And the hospital is going to take that at face value, because why would they be like, are you sure you didn't cut your hand doing something else? It's just interesting that I feel that there's again, just a loose end, just left flapping in the wind. You guys let me know your thoughts.
Okay. So yes, the detective actually went and looked and made sure there was a broken window. Okay. But you know what? Anyone, and I'm just saying this humbly as speculation, anyone can go and do something horrible and then do something else to make it look like something else. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened, but you have to really think about this. Either this is truly what happened. Yeah, where's the chicken? Either this is truly what happened, or this is just a cover up of what happened, in my humble opinion. That could possibly happen, right? So Chicken Guy happens to be, now brace yourself. I learned this a while ago, and I'm glad that B shared it, Booking with B. She's on TikTok. This guy is this guy. He was given a shout out by Beta Theta Pi that he is a firefighter. Yes, he is. Him and his friend are firefighters. Now, since the time that I knew who this guy was, he took off his picture on LinkedIn, but left all his professional information. Here is his name. Allegedly, this is him. And he claims he's a wildland firefighter at the Forestry Service in Moscow, Idaho. And he was in equipment. He studied Bachelor in Science Ecology at University of Idaho. Did a little background on him. Yes, ever since B did a video on him, took off his picture, put it on pretty much nothing, right? There's nothing left there of it. Just like the other kid, I did a video and basically he disappeared overnight. Okay. This is what happens. Somebody is watching us break this down and talk about this and then making themselves disappear, essentially, in my humble opinion, allegedly. There are some other things that on Instagram too that they shout out and congratulations and Caden Kelly, CK and AA, LGPA. Okay. Are you like getting the gist of some of these initials here? AA is on the list. So when you look at the big picture, why are we not seeing more of these lists have information with the actual lab list? Exactly. I don't know. I have not been able to find anything other than the beta, theta, pi. Give him a shout out. I don't know if he was part of the frat, but typically when they give a shout out to a frat and look at his hand signs, probably you could assume allegedly that he was part of the frat. Okay. I wonder if he knows Bethany's frat boy fireman. I don't know. But yes, I can't figure out who AA, and I heard it on different channels. Okay, well, if this is him, allegedly, this is his professional LinkedIn right there. But like I said, most of the information I looked everywhere has been deleted, and you can't find any more pictures online anymore. And this was over a week ago. And then now today, looks like he just fell off the face of the earth. Okay. So there's a little bit more. And the only one that I could think of was the Idaho AG. There is a website that I found. Okay. Idaho AG something. I can't remember what it is now. But there was a little bit of, I want to say, some picture background of some of these people's names. And I don't want to give you the wrong impression. You can go out there and do a little bit of research too. But that is a little bit that caught me off guard in looking at some of these documents and some of these individuals. And shout out to Booking with B that she released that. And I'm glad. I'm so glad that people are starting to wake up, ask questions, look at some of these documents, put two and two together, and figure out why this happened. Who are these people? Why did this take place? Those are questions that we ask ourselves every single day. So I'm glad that every single one of you is here. Thank you for joining and coming in today. Now, I'm going to give you another doozy. I'm going to give you another one, not just the bubblegum DNA, the information that we've looked at, some of the other documents, some of the other items. Some things don't match up. Now, does anybody know? I'm going to put this picture up here. Does anybody know and remember what I said this morning about this house, this blue house? If these people were on their back porch, please tell me how they never heard a darn thing happen in that house. The individual that gave a statement in that house said, in fact, they went to bed at 3:30 a.m. So if you kind of got in bed by 3:30, and let me ask you in the chat, do you fall asleep the moment your head hits the pillow, or does it take you 10, 20, 30 minutes? Anyone? I mean, do you like go to bed super fast? Do you listen to the sounds around you? Does your mind wander a little bit? Or does it, I mean, if I'm like super busy and I'm tired all throughout the day, I'll lay down and I'll like give myself about 15, 20 minutes. And then I am down for the count. Totally down for the count. So, yeah, some of you were saying that it takes you 35, takes me hours. Now, I know, Mama Coco. I understand. I have the list of everyone in that house, and I'm about to give you some of that information. Okay? Yeah, you could fall asleep easy with some medication. I get it. Totally get it. But like typically on an average night, do you just go to sleep quickly, or makes it a little difficult for you to fall asleep? I mean, I'm just saying, for some people, it could take a little while to go to sleep, right? I get it. And for some people, it might take you, 10 minutes and you hit the pillow and you are totally out. Okay. But if I told you that this individual on their witness statement said that they went to bed at 3:30, no problems. Do you guys know? Now, I know somebody just brought a really good comment in here. Where did it go? Oh, where did it go? Help me. Where did it go? Dang it. Okay, here it is. Now, let me say this. That's the house that Dot said she was at, allegedly. Let's just spend about 5 or 10 minutes on this topic. This is going to be huge. It depends on how much weed they smoked and how much they drank that night. I agree with that. Okay. So, with Trazodone and True Prime podcast, I have insomnia. You guys are making me laugh. I mean, it's not funny, but I really can identify with some of you, especially some of these comments. Yeah. Okay. So let me preface this. It's okay. I went to bed I got home after a party, and I went to bed. It didn't say I went to sleep. I went to bed. So maybe it gave some time to fall asleep. Maybe I'd say about 45 minutes, 35, 45 minutes. Okay. Now, a lot of people, and I'm saying this in general, and from my own experience, when I would go out and party, yes, I did when I was younger, had so much fabulous time in foreign countries and cities and friends and, some wild military parties. But we would go out and we would come home. The bar closes at 2 and, in the 20s to 30s. And then, we got to get something to eat, Waffle House, or go somewhere. And then by the time we got home, it would be like maybe 3:30, 4 o'clock, unless we left late and hung out in the parking lot for a little bit. Then we'd get home between 3:30 and 4. Okay. And if I was, going home with my husband or whoever, we wouldn't really go to sleep. We would just get in bed. Okay. And then maybe, a little hanky panky. And by 5 a.m., we'd be asleep, dead to the world, and wake up about 12. Okay. So if you think about it, it's not too far fetched to say, well, we were in bed, but I mean, I was asleep and I didn't hear anything from the back porch of your neighbor's house. Guys, this porch is so freaking close to the 1122 King Road. I showed you those pictures earlier. I showed you the simple photographs from the ISP reports. Okay. That backyard is like you could reach out and touch someone. I mean, I'm saying it in a metaphor type of way. Okay. You could hear almost everything from that backyard to Party Central, because this place was known as Party Central, guys. Okay. And Haley's friend allegedly lived in one of these back houses. I don't know who that was, but I'm going to show you some public documents that will blow you away. So one of these individuals, I mean, let's really be honest here. Okay. Who did this house belong to? The blue house at 1118 King Road. Who factually lived in that house that could possibly tell us a little bit more about what happened that night? And if you look at these pictures and think, OMG, I never thought about this before, it's okay, because it took me a minute too. This backyard could see every freaking thing that happened in the other backyard. I mean, could we agree on that? I'm not going to disagree if that was a true statement. But that backyard would probably be able to see, I would say, maybe 90% of what was happening in that backyard, if not like 99.99999%, right? I mean, let's agree to that. Okay. So then we look at the fact that who is living at that house during the time of these crime scene, this horrible atrocity. Who do you think lived at that house? Now, someone just said allegedly Dot lived at that house. And that's what they've been telling you. That's the story that they want you to believe. But what if I factually told you, public record, drop a name that you would never believe in a million years that lived at that house? 1118 King Road. Do you really think that Dot lived there? Name someone that you would never believe in a million years that lived there. Simple. The blue house. Drop a name. Nope. Ian lived at 500. He lived at the Queen Road. I think Dot is speaking for another person. Possibly. Possibly. Would you believe me if I told you that Emily Allant lived at that house? Would you believe that? Emily Allant, 1118 King Road. That is public knowledge. This is right from whitepages.com, folks. Whitepages.com. And guess who else lived there? Her friend. Right there. Josie Josette L. So when Hunter says he was spending the night at Emily's, well, where did Emily live? This blue house right in front of these little steps up to the security camera right there. All right then. Now what? The King girls. Well, who else owned this house and owned 1122 King Road? There you go, folks. There you go. Right up at the top, same person that owned, yep, Jackie, you got it. Same person that owned 1122 King Road owned 1118 King Road and actually lived there at one time and was factually 1122 LLC. So when I tell you, well, remember, they were co-owners. Dan was a co-owner with SP. But when I tell you, don't you think that you see this and you see that that backyard could basically see mostly everything? And think about the sound. There was a party that night. Dot said she was at a party. There was a party that night there. How could somebody go work and go home and sleep when they're having a party? How is that even possible, folks? Please do help me understand this. You tell the cops during an interview, well, I worked the game and then I went to sleep. Well, somebody who claimed to be there, living there, was at your party? Now we're starting to understand some truths. Now we're starting to see the deception in the patterns. So now I kind of understand why perhaps somebody's mother has been stalking my videos, making comments, and just because they say something doesn't mean they were there, they witnessed, they know, they saw. They've been just trying to tell us all kinds of stories to see what would believe and what would stick. But when you learn the facts, then you have to rethink the narrative. And like Caleb will throw in there, busted. Busted, busted, busted. And there's someone else on my Moscow Police Department list that people just don't talk about. And I've often wondered why. Why don't they talk about this individual? Because we know for a fact if those cigarette butts were Jose Cruz's cigarette butts, they would have had the DNA testing. They would have arrested that guy in a freaking heartbeat. He would have been in jail. Period. He had a background. He had his prints in the system. If those were his cigarettes that they tested and they put his name in these documents, that guy would be sitting his butt in freaking jail. I guarantee you, if those cigarette butts in the backyard matched, his butt would be in prison. But we never get the conclusive results from these DNA tests. So where are the conclusive results? Will we ever see them because Brian Kohberger pled guilty? What do y'all think? Are we going to see him one day, or are they just going to quietly have some type of process to let him out? They have to go through some type of court process. But after seeing Hippler today, in my humble opinion, I keep wondering, why is he still ruling like this from the bench, acting like, I mean, all the officials in this house, all the officials in this, not this house, but this case, in the court, in the lab reports, they know. They know it couldn't have been Kohberger. They couldn't link him. So whose cigarette butts, allegedly, could they be? Well, it's more likely, perhaps, the people that these people partied with know who was there and what they possibly even saw that night. That's more likely than not to tell the story. And that one person that we've never heard the story from is David Loach. And allegedly, DL, allegedly, could possibly be him. And were those tested? Were the cigarettes tested to find out? Well, you know what? Even if they did test positive for his DNA, he would go over there and party. Doesn't mean he harmed someone. Doesn't mean he injured someone. But let me leave you with this. Obviously, it could be hearsay or circumstantial, because nobody's on board to give one single true factual story, in my humble opinion. But just like this simple article in the news talked about bubblegum, I don't know why of all things, they talked about bubblegum. They talked about the items that were found in the house. Items like cigarette butts. Photos of the crime scene released with the documents show a home common for Greek college life. Counters littered with empty, hard seltzer can, wine bottles, snack wrappers, and sticks of gum. And partially crushed beer can sat next to neatly displayed jewelry on a small vanity. A backpack was kept near a box of Bud Light Lime. I didn't see any Bud Light Lime tested. Did you guys? I only saw Keystone. The police weren't the only ones trying to make sense of the gruesome murders. Friends and classmates of the victims tried to help investigators establish a timeline of their movements that night. Who wrote this frickin' bullshit? Excuse me, I'm gonna get spicy. Who wrote this? Because in those reports, it sure didn't look like any of these friends or classmates were trying to help solve the timeline and the movements that night. Many students described heavy alcohol consumption and bar and party hopping, the documents said. The victims were well liked, according to the interviews, and there wasn't a reason to think anyone harbored a violent grudge. Right there tells you there was a violent grudge. And one mother told the police when they came to talk to her, I sure hope that because of blank, blank, blank didn't cause my daughter to blank, blank. But she told him at the end of that article, clearly, you better go check so-and-so. She hated Xana. Or excuse me, X redacted hated Xana. In my humble opinion, I think it was another female. I don't think many males would hate Xana. Do think it might have been, in my humble opinion, allegedly a female. Now, there was a report that came out. Thanks, Amanda, for just sharing this with me. There was a report that came out. It says exclusive renowned cold case expert claims inexperienced Idaho police made a major misstep when they removed personal items from the home where 4 students were murdered before their family got a chance to walk through the grisly crime scene. Now, I don't know about you, but as a family member, I would not want to walk through a crime scene like that. Would you? Would you want to reserve the right to walk through your child's crime scene? I mean, I'm not a glutton for punishment, but if I knew that people were going to lie to me, of it, those in authority, yeah, I would probably want to walk through it. I would probably want to. But private investigator Sheila Wasaki tells Daily Mail that police in Moscow, Idaho made a major misstep in the case of 4 murdered students. Wasaki, 60, became a household name in the world of crime when she solved the murder of her own college roommate 30 years after the crime. 30 years after the crime. She expressed concern that the inexperienced Idaho police force had mishandled the crime scene and lost valuable opportunity for evidence. Well, now I'm sure she's going to sit, but this report was written in, this article was written in December 2022. I'm sure by now she's sitting back thinking, those people, I could grovel on this one. Those people really effed up, right? It says she expressed concern that the inexperienced people, okay, it's a major misstep that they didn't give any family members the opportunity to walk through the crime scene before it was disturbed. You mean evidence was knocked down, destroyed? I must hope that they have taken hundreds and hundreds of good crime scene photographs. Wow. She's now a renowned cold case expert. She became a household name. As painful as it is, it can be the difference between solving the case and not the police having good information or not. Well, maybe they didn't want to solve this case. Maybe they did not want to solve this case. And I can see what's going on with the doc conversation. I get it. And I don't know who this person is. I'm not questioning. I question the integrity of this individual. But if she's using a voice changer, then she doesn't want to be, she doesn't want to be known. And I do know, allegedly, she showed up on Birdie's channel under a different name and gave a different guise and totally disingenuine. And yeah, people like that you can't trust, in my humble opinion, allegedly. So this article goes on to say the police are going to say that they don't want to traumatize the family, yada, yada, yada. But you know what? They could say whatever they want. Maybe they didn't want the evidence to be known. That is a serious possibility, especially when you see them moving out the survivors. The police force has their own moving service, right? Yeah, I mean, you could pick apart somebody's, story. But with what the information that I've told you now, think about it. Everybody was under the assumption these people lived perhaps in the Whites. And public record information says right here that they lived at 1118 King Road. Public information, whitepages.com. Whitepages.com, you can go to voters.com. There is so much information out there that you can find. Public information. They both lived at this house. Right up the steps was the other house that had the camera. They didn't have a camera on this house. The backyard is right here across from here. And as you can see in the backyard, hold on a minute. You could see right on the back of that porch, like I shared before. It's that simple. I mean, I don't know why nobody talked about this before. It's beyond me. I mean, once you see something, you can't unsee it, you know? That's just the way it is. They don't want you to know what they don't want you to know unless somebody goes and questions it. I question the unthinkable. Did everyone say in the document they lived at the Whites? I don't know. They redacted most of that. They redacted most of it. Who is the lady who became an expert? Let me grab that for you. Let me grab that screenshot. Her name is... Her name is Wysocki. Sheila Wysocki. Sheila Wysocki. And you know what? Let me do this. Let me send this article. Hold on a minute. Let me send this article to myself, and then I will put it in the chat and drop it so you guys can get the link too, so you could read this yourselves. I can do that. Hold on. I mean, you just got to ask yourself, why would somebody make up all these stories? Either it's true and they don't want us to know, and they just figured they're buying time. He pled guilty, drop it. He's never getting out. Yeah. If he was not guilty, he shouldn't even be there in the first place. Have we seen any smoking gun evidence? No. I mean, okay, I know how everyone is feeling about this whole Dot, and I see your comments. Not that I know what you're feeling about it. I see your comments, but humor me for 1 second. Okay? We've got a few minutes. Here is the article that I was just talking about. Here is her name, Sheila. She's a private investigator, and she says that Moscow has made too many mistakes. I just now dropped the link in the chat, so you can go ahead and take a look at that for yourself too. Thank you. Shout out to Amanda. Greatly appreciate it. And yeah, hit a thumbs up, please. I don't mind asking. So humor me. I see a lot of people think that Dot was lying. I don't think Dot was lying. Some people say that she is. I'll send you the information. Dot just told the story from a scared college girl. Well, I heard part of that Dot was saying that she lived there, that she was going to college. So we don't even know what's really true. I'll tell you what. I checked all the background information on this house and who lived there. Okay? I don't see anyone that could even closely result in living somebody older and going to college there. Dot was at the next one to that house. Okay, I'll do a background on the next house. So let me see what I've got here. Let's see what we've got. I knew somebody would say that. So what do we have for the next house over? Let's look at our list. I got to delete something first. So let me do this one. I'll delete Dan Estes from owning that house because we all know who he is. So let's look at the next house. She said that she was at a party there. That's what she said. So let's look at the next house if perhaps that wasn't the house now that we've changed our minds that maybe she's at the next house. If she's not at 1118, then she might be at 1126. Let's see who lives at 1126 at the time of this horrible atrocity. Now, I do have private databases that I cannot share, but I can share any public information that I can find on the internet for 1126. Now, 1126 is this house. Let me just share this with you. We'll go through the whole process. 1126 is this house. They are managed by Team Idaho Real Estate and Management Property. So perhaps we could absolutely put two and two together that maybe the owner of this house owned a few other houses that also overlooks, maybe in his portfolio, they have all of them. Okay. Now, why is she a supposed eyewitness for 3 different popular cases? Are you saying that's Dot? Les? I thought there was a party. I think she admitted speaking for another witness. Now people are starting to say other things. I'm interested in hearing anything that anyone has to say. Dot's real name is Braden. She got the name Dot because she was in Brett Norton's TikTok chats. Her username was Dot. And we all nickname her Dot. I was there during this. Okay. January, she also said she was the getaway driver. What? If anybody's got a clip, I definitely got to hear this. Made an error in judgment stating 1st January. Did you see the comment? No, I'll look for it. Too many stories, no facts. Dot's in her 30s. She went to another channel a long time ago and confessed to her lies. Very sad and heartbreaking. She lives in Michigan. She has done this in 2 other cases. All right. So I think we can agree that Dot may need some assistance. Okay. And leave it there. I didn't see any witness statement. If she said she was there, a witness statement would match up. How is Dot a witness to this as well as the Sebastian Rogers in Tennessee? Interesting. I covered a little bit of that case. And I found it really odd that the dad would reach out to me and want to talk to me. But it is what it is. I think it was the confession with the Melissa J. channel. And she said she was speaking for someone who was too scared to speak out. Yeah, that would be great. I mean, if you can post the video, I'll go ahead and take a look at it. I usually don't click links, just if you said, let's look at the people who have been known or the owner lives there in the last 10 years at 1126 King Road. Let's just take a peek. Okay, here we go. Owner. Well, the house was sold over in 2023. And prior to that, somebody owned it for 8 years. Prior to that, lived there for 3 years. Okay. All right. Okay, this is pretty cool. This is all public knowledge and I can share this. So, Past residents at 1122 King Road, Jalea Kate Moore, age 26. Anna Walden, doubt if it's 72-year-old. Okay, so that's pretty much public info, right? There's other ways to find this information, but I would probably say, honestly, it's probably more than likely, or I'd say less than likely, that would be Dot. And if she's already confessed and came clean, then good for her. But whether it's true or not, this house where she lived, and they possibly saw and heard everything. And they were what? Involved. Emily Allant on 1113, they coded her as involved. Hunter Johnson, involved. Okay, those two were involved. Josie L. was mentioned. So, I don't know. I'm going to still focus on where I need to focus and bring you the information that is relevant. And I think I brought you enough bombshells today to actually say whatever happened at this house, I'm sure this house knew. And then they call them immediately to come over. Nah, something's not right here, folks. I can smell it a mile away. And I'm glad that now you know more facts. You can form your own opinions. So what do you say we do something real quick? He created his ownership. Yeah, he owned quite a few houses. It's the Panty. Yep, there you go. That is the house of the individual that came back from Boise. Remember, from Boise. Where did Emily Allant live? In Boise. They never came on the video. And that was the girl who I showed you. Her car was broken into. Panties were removed. Remember that? Was that another coincidence or a panty raid? That was the one. The car was almost stolen, allegedly. And the suitcase was in the road, wasn't it? Do you remember that story? It was on Plunder, wasn't it? I believe so. She reported, we watched the video. I mean, this story has been going around for quite some time. Cops came. Yeah, okay, that's what it was. Thank you, Yvonne. Yes. The underwear was left in the cup holder. That means that somebody went through their underwear, their clothes. They went through their drawers. Was this just another panty raid that night that went bad? Remember the story? I just didn't know it was Emily's. Well, it wasn't Emily's. It was somebody else. Let me go to Plunder. Hold on a minute. I'm going to go to Plunder. She's amazing, by the way. And let me do 1118 King Road. This is the one I found. Hold on a minute. I found my underwear in the cup holder. That's exactly what she told him. Here it is. Yeah, that's the one. Here it is. Yeah, isn't that just really odd? I mean, they walk right up to the house. That is the blue house. 1122. 1122. Oh, it's the house right there. Okay, no, it's the other house. It's the other house, folks. It's this house, 11. Hold on a minute. She labeled this as 1122. But this house is this house. That is that house. That is 1118. Because look at my little design here. 1118 is right here. That one sits back a little bit. This is 1118. So this one, panties were in suitcase in the car. No, her panties were left in the cup holder. They were going to steal her car. Listen.
Suitcase, did you see, like, were any of the doors open, like the hatch or anything?
No, just the suitcase was sitting outside of it.
And what time was that?
Whose voice is that? Listen to this voice.
I say around 9:30.
Okay.
Last night?
This morning.
This morning. Okay, so between 9 o'clock last night and 9:30 this morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Is there any damage to your vehicle?
Not that I can tell.
What about the fuse box, the little lid for that?
I don't know what it's like normally. The only thing I kind of noticed is like my hood thing. Like if you look down here, it looks like it's like bent like the other way a little bit.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, they might have been.
But the fuse box like lids on the ground.
Did you look inside the hood to see if anything was tampered with?
I don't know what cars are supposed to look like. So.
Okay, I mean, it's okay. Do you want us to look and check?
Yeah, you can look.
You want to pop the hood there, Chris?
I just saw it and it just looked
Yeah.
like a lot of wires.
Nope, it sounds like to me someone might have been trying to maybe take your car, but...
And I started my car already and it started, so...
Nothing wrong with it?
No.
Did you drive it?
No.
Okay.
But I put it in reverse first so I can make sure the brakes will work.
Right.
And it worked. I mean,
Okay. You know how to open your hood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. I think she probably says it before, but the panties were in the cup holder. That's what she starts to explain.
I was like, hey, did you bring my suitcase up? And she's like, yeah, it was in the middle of the road. And I was like, that's weird.
Oh, your suitcase was in the middle of the road?
Yeah, it was like back over here, and I had it in the back of my car.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I was like, maybe I forgot and just left it out. And
Right.
So then I take it inside, and I open it, and all the stuff that I had, oh, I locked it, I should have my keys. But all the stuff I had up here, all my pay stubs, the stuff I had in the center console, my sunglasses I was literally wearing yesterday were all shoved inside my suitcase, and like it was like zipped back up. And
So everything that you had in your front seat was now in your suitcase? Yeah. Okay.
And then there's like a shoe print over here, and then there's like my fuse box under my steering wheel is like opened. I'll go get my keys. I just left it like
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, they're trying to steal it.
Do you guys think that someone was trying to steal her car or scare her or maybe just get her underwear? I mean, something is not right about this. Someone was maybe lurking in the area.
Why would you open the fuse box? Hot wire? I don't know.
Yes, and in the background, that is the car. Per the witness, JD, Jack DeCour did say that Steve Gonsalves, their family, allowed him to use their white Elantra in the background.
That's
Right
odd.
there.
Because we've been having those vehicle thefts. Well, there's obviously no way you wouldn't pull prints off this anyways.
Yeah, black hole. Look, they got couches just sitting out here. But that was the house next to where allegedly, obviously per public record, Emily and Josie lived at the 1118. So that was the house. This was the car that was, I know she said, I believe, said that it was in the cup holder. Oh, she just said they had a Facebook page. I wonder if that Facebook page is public. Let me see. Is there a Moscow Facebook page? Moscow's, Idaho. Is there a community page? I looked in neighborhood. I didn't see anything. University of Idaho, Occupy Idaho, Moscow Farmers Market. Doug Wilson said, what? Oh gosh. Moscow Report. Local economy. City of Moscow. I don't see anything. At home. I don't see anything dealing with Moscow. But let me tell you this, Moscow is a booming town, y'all. Moscow is a booming town. Shout out again to Amanda. Amanda, I had been wanting to share this, and I think this is the perfect time right now to share this. Let me grab it. Amazing how something so tragic, so tragic. I mean, they're just doing so well. It's crazy. It's wild. Okay, look, watch this. Amanda B, shout out to you, girlfriend. You are like the digger and finder of good stuff. Living in Moscow, Idaho. Check this out.
Wondering what the holdup on the new Chick-fil-A is? I've got the official update for you. Construction for the new Chick-fil-A was planned for this spring and summer, bringing a dedicated off-campus restaurant with a drive-through to the Palouse Place Mall parking lot. I've got word directly from Chick-fil-A for you. Chick-fil-A says, we are always evaluating potential new locations in the hopes of serving existing and new guests. Check it out! If you've been wondering what the...
Okay, so here he is a little while ago announcing that they're going to build the Chick-fil-A, and bam!
Check it out! Moscow's new Chick-fil-A is officially vertical, and I've got your update. As you can see, the main structure has taken shape. The real question is, when will it be open? Since construction started, there haven't been any major delays, which is good news because doors are estimated to open in spring of 2026. That beloved chicken sandwich is coming. Fun fact, that means
so this is on YouTube. So it's called Living in Moscow. And this guy started this channel in 2017. And he's got some really good updates on Moscow, right? I mean, he's upbeat. He's got some great things. He'll tell you a lot about, Moscow, what to do around in the area. But here's the deal. If you go back, he started it in 2017, right? So you have to go back a little while back, and it'll tell you a little bit about, housing and this and that. Fun fact, don't go there. Yeah, I think they can still get Molly to deliver, not for Chick-fil-A probably. Okay, this is interesting. If you ever get a chance, go and watch some of his videos. Watch this.
And right, the tragic quadruple homicides, that put Moscow on the map because of the tragedy, but it's a weird story. This is not Moscow. This is not Idaho. Amazon Prime put out a documentary that I found really interesting because this is our home. Like when you watch that, it's like I know that street. Like I know those colors. The University of Idaho. That's my alumni. And right, the tragic quadruple.
I mean, he's got a roundabout lot of videos, and all of it obviously is dealing with Moscow. And at first I was like, well, how come they haven't rebuilt a house? They've got houses in there for, 417, 415, gated communities. Some of these houses that we just got done talking about in the neighborhood, they're like mid fours. Some are up to the sevens, depending on what part of the area that you live in. And, in this area right here, specifically across from the street from the university, they get a little bit more, obviously, more money for rentals because they have individuals and they rent it out for 6 people. And yeah, right. Nothing ever happens in Idaho. So, one of the things that I found interesting is that this guy covers Idaho. You can go and watch it. But this guy is like he puts in every other video, and he's got this guy that comes on here. This guy, hold on, let me throw this up here.
Young family life in Moscow.
It's the best place to raise your family. I've got really good friends who are police officers, military, foreign countries, big cities, LA. And, I'm sure there's data to decide really, there's no bad parts of town. There's so many different kinds of people in Moscow.
There's no bad parts of town. And I don't see, hold on a minute.
I'm bringing you the stories of real Moscow, Idaho residents to help you decide if Moscow is the right place for you. If so, what are you getting?
This was 2 months ago, guys. 2 months ago.
Finishing up bachelor's degree there. And at that point, it's where do we go next for school and for work, the next chapter. Because we knew that we weren't going to continue there. And it wasn't necessarily anything in Texas that put Moscow on our radar. It was actually family and friends.
Okay.
So my wife's family moved to this area from North Carolina in the early 60s.
Wow.
Yep. So they moved here, got planted. My grandfather-in-law, parts manager at dealerships in town, helped work on the dam in Orofino.
Wow.
Broader family loggers over in St. Mary's and the whole area. So my wife.
Now, don't get me wrong. This is a beautiful place. It is absolutely a beautiful place. Now, when I moved to Idaho in, when was it? 2015-ish. I had no idea that it was one of the fastest growing areas in the country. And where I lived, the schools were top rated. Okay. I had no idea. But I will say, in just a few short years, houses jumped, doubled, and then almost tripled in some areas. Mind you, that for $300,000-$400,000 you could still get a huge house for that cost. So is Moscow, Idaho the portal to hell? I don't know. Is it the Twilight Zone? Perhaps. But I know for a fact, just as someone else said it looks like, right, the town seems healthier after the murders. And I wonder if there's a little bit of psychology behind this, right? Because if you were on the TikTok days, back in the days, there was somebody that came up when Bertie and I were live and we played good cop, bad cop. We talked to them about the Moscow area. We talked to them about crime and other things. And basically, he said that the last murder was in 2007 or something like that. Okay. So when you kind of think that way, you're like, this has got to be a one-off, right? And it seems to me as if they put a lot of effort behind this, really pushing the narrative, we are a safer place now. Okay? Yeah, they got millions from Governor Little. They got millions. We have to put Idaho on the map. But Idaho was on the map prior. It was getting award-winning, big, especially Meridian. Meridian was getting so much news media time, magazine time, one of the best places to raise kids. I mean, has any of you ever been to Meridian, Idaho? Any of you? Type a yes or a no. I mean, this place is absolutely gorgeous, minus they've got a huge Latter-day Saints temple out there in Meridian, millions and millions of dollars, right? That's like one of their big draws. Amanda, thank you. Source sent me something. Let me look and say it's probably a hot source. Hold on, let me look. Now, Meridian, Idaho is beautiful. It's a small area, but it is gorgeous. It is growing. It is bustling. Some of the best schools. And even Parents Magazine rated it #1 to raise a family. You know, one of the top places to come and raise your kids, right? So if you've never been there, you're not really missing out on a lot, but it is a nice place. It's an expensive place now today. It's like if you wanted to move to LA or something of that nature, in my humble opinion. I mean, Meridian, Old Town, I mean, I love the village. So many things to do. I mean, just a gorgeous place to go to visit. You know, they have most of the major attractions for families, water parks. I mean, they've got, you know, wahoos. They've got a lot of things to do for family, fun, activity, nightlife for Boise. I mean, they've got it all. College town. You know, Boise is still a big college town. You've got football, college ball. It draws a lot of kids in, obviously. And it's a nice place. I wouldn't go to a small town, in my humble opinion, like Moscow, but it sounds to me like there was some, you know, possibly some planning involved in this, especially in the psychology of, oh, this just happened. I mean, I remember tons of farmland out there that are now homes ever since I went back to visit. I mean, it's just grown so much. You know, what does an average home look like? I mean, they're pretty they're pretty large in some areas, and some places you definitely don't want to go. But with all the new building that they've done out there, it's almost like Cary, North Carolina. I lived in there, and you know, I worked for a major tech company, and these are the standard size homes that you'll find out there. So it's not like, you know, it's not like it's a small town like I want to say Moscow is, or Cascade. Cascade's small. You know, Mountain Home is growing too. They've got all kinds of new homes. But let me show you what Amanda just sent me, because I want you guys to see this. This is like wild and crazy. I mean, we talk about things like this happening, and maybe that's what the inference of let's put Idaho on the map. I don't know. But some things that come to my mind when they say let's put Idaho on the map is definitely not let's have a major quadruple homicide and then you know, allegedly beef the economy up, you know, and do what we got to do to move to the next level. I don't understand that, you know. And even if you know, I know there's a market for this, and I know you guys are probably going to be like, what? No way. There is a marketplace. Hold on, I'm going to copy this link and send it to myself, and I'll show you. There is a marketplace, and there are people, there are some twisted individuals that will do things like this. And I'm not saying, you know, that this is illegal. Is it unethical? Perhaps. I'm even having a problem stumbling my own words to get into the conversation to talk about this. Is it illegal? No. Is it, you know, will some people find it offensive? Absolutely. What am I talking about? I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've heard about it. Now, knowing that we saw underwear in the street, panties in the street, and also knowing that we've seen some footage of perhaps somebody going around breaking into others' houses and suitcases and stuff of that nature, I would never think, I mean, humbly, in a million years, that someone would be out canvassing the area of women's undergarments, whether they broke in their house or not, and do something nefarious, or let alone sell them. Okay? Now, I know your source is very credible, Amanda, and I'm going to bring this conversation to the forefront. I think it's important, especially when someone commented on my video, oh, we drop our underwear all the time around town and it's in the road. It's nothing new. Okay. But what about if you are in the process of stealing women's undergarments and selling them on different websites? Does that happen? Yeah. Yeah. Pantydeal.com. There is a website for these types of dealings, for these types of individuals that want to sell people's panties. And it's big business. It is. It's income. I don't know why anybody would do it, but you have people that do it. Here is an example. You ready for this one? If you're not, if you're triggered, you might not want to watch. This is, hold on a minute. Dang it. A price to pay. College students share their methods of making quick cash as expenses grow. Yep. Oh my God. You can sell underwear online. Well, retailers, yeah. Retailers can sell new underwear online, but some of this stuff going on that college kids would be selling online. Yeah, so let me read this article because it is so freaking small. I don't know how you guys could even possibly read this article, but let me copy this. And this is from, and I'm going to give you the source because you guys aren't going to want to forget this. I'm going to put it up on the screen in a picture. I'm going to make my source bigger so that I could probably see this better. And it says, a worn down jacket might sell for $15 at a local consignment shop. Donating plasma might lend an extra $50. A used pair of underwear can sell online for up to $300. Oh my God. Oh my God. King Girl sounds like an escort company on the DL. Maybe they were doing something else. I don't know. Okay? We don't know. We are clearly speculating, but somebody sent this to me because look at the objects.library.universityofidaho.edu. Now, I don't know where this article came from. It says it right here in little bold letters. Hardly see anything. But Caleb, go ahead. You can say what you want. Each of these money-making strategies can be utilized by college students in need of quick cash. This sure sounds like giving people ideas, right? Each of these money-making strategies is, wow. These panties sales basically leads to what? Next? Phoenix not afraid to hit the oddities. Hell no. I'll go there. There are many different ways to earn cash as a college student. While some ways may be more favorable than others, each lends a little or a lot of money to help push through the school year. And you were just about to say what I was going to say. You guys are too quick. Yeah, I'll email it. Okay, you can email it to me. That's fine. So now we are just speculating because someone has sent this to me. If this was in relation to the panties that were missing around town or whatever, then it is what it is. Okay. The Argonaut U of I paper did an article about it. I found it early in the case and sent it to Bubbly Waters. She did a video on that. What kind of school puts that in the papers? Now, you got to remember, the paper is ran by students. Students that are probably investigating things like this too. I mean, Caden Young could have been investigating this for all we know, right? Caden Young was he was going to school to be an investigative journalist or something like that. So, I mean, if you think about it, he could have been investigating this. Maybe somebody found out who it was. I don't know. I'm just speculating. The calculation for Idaho resident for the U of I is $21,000. It includes room and board, classes, and other daily living expenses, according to the UI's website. Anyone working a minimum wage job must work over 8 hours a day for a year to pay full in tuition. In 2015, the median earnings for a bachelor's degree recipient working was $24,000, 67% higher than those of graduates. But they were doing an investigation on it. It was literally telling students how to make extra money, which is a very good point. A very good point. And I've seen some of the papers and some of the articles that the Argonaut has put out. I've gone through their newspapers, and I will tell you, this is wild. Okay? Students are placed in situations where making money and alternative ways outside of an hourly paying job can make a difference between attending school or dropping out. These students make the choice to invest in their futures. They are some people who want that degree or bad that they're willing to do anything for it. Hands down. Open for nearly 8 years in downtown. Oh my God, you guys got to be kidding me. Is this the co-assignment shop that somebody was working at? The storm cellar. I wonder if this has something. I remember seeing a video. Please don't tell me there's a connection to this. I remember her name. I don't remember her name, but Giz has a post about her. I've attached where it came from. There was a lady at the store that said they knew one of the people who passed on. And she was talking about the thrift store. Okay. All right. Wow. This is wild. Okay. So it says the storm seller pays co-SRs 50% of the items it sells for, and they usually have 4,000 active what are they called? Co-signers, and have had 9,000 during 8 years of operation. It's hard to make good money in this state at this age, and college campus have good hours. Along with cutting costs, the store aims to migrate textile waste. So much landfill waste, clothing, textile. Storm was a college student before opening the business, and she understood the financial struggle that students make and face. The storm seller definitely grew out of college money making activities, yada, yada, yada. Okay, let me look at the next one. See if I can blow this one up. It's hard to make good money at this age and campus and have good hours. So let me read this part right here that is circled. Selling their underwear. Okay, so websites exist that allow people to sell used underwear from their home to provide people around the world and make a profit. My friends and I were talking about how we really wanted to study abroad in Europe. Oh my God. Didn't somebody say they were going to go travel to Europe? Ugh. But in the meantime, I didn't have a job and I had been applying, but no one was hiring. I needed to make money and I needed to make it as quickly as I could. Pantydeal.com is not new to Jane and her friends. They were sitting and joking about it, but we all kind of gave each other the look. We would actually do that. There was one guy that literally said that he would pay big bucks, Jane said. Although Jane did not follow through with making sales through the website, the consideration shows the situation she was placed in may have contemplated that option. It's hard to make good money in this state at this age and on a college campus and have good hours, Jane said. As college education becomes a requirement for more fitting careers and living comfortably, and obviously additional expenses. So, wow. Wow. According to Green Cross America's website, plasma is commonly used to help immune system deficiencies, burn victims, liver bleeding, yada, 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 some other ways that they can make money. I would never recommend anyone to give up their plasma, ever. Your body can only produce so much. Yep. My mind has officially been blown. Now, who in the world would even think work for API part-time? That's how. Yeah, I did when I was in North Carolina when I was in nursing school. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. Okay. So that was a little interesting tidbit of information that I was not expecting, Amanda. That is for sure. Pantydeal.com. All right. So, does that website exist today? I don't know. Let me look. I doubt it. Can't reach it. The IP server. It's asking me, did I mean PayPal? No, I didn't mean PayPal. Okay. That is crazy, guys. I mean, was anybody expecting that? Buy, sell, used underwear. I was not expecting that. Obviously, I don't think they want brand new, clean underwear. I doubt it. There is a website called sniffer.com. It's been around since 1987. We buy, I don't know if I want to go there. I might get like some type of virus or some type of, you guys know where I'm going, right? Back in the early days, people of eBay were selling them. Oh my God. I'm afraid I'm going to get some virus if I click on this website. Some STD in my computer. God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I had to throw that one in there. Oh my gosh, I snorted. Sorry, you guys. While laughing, I snorted. Oh my gosh. I don't know about that, but I mean, I don't think I could click any of these. I'd probably get some type. Oh, oh God, that was hilarious. Okay, so there are quite a few websites for. No, I'm not going to click it. Yeah, so let me see what this one says. Let me see. Yes, selling used panties is illegal in most countries, including the UK, US. Oh, it's illegal. Oh, it's legal. Yes, selling used panties is legal in most countries, including US, UK, Canada, and Australia. It's essentially selling secondhand clothing. You can do it safely and anonymous online to successfully sell your panties. Holy moly, I can't believe this. That's why frats have panty raids, frat money. Well, duh. Oh my God, now I get it. That's big time money. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Is a Grammy found a hustle. Oh my gosh. This is like deep down the rabbit hole. Gross. Holy moly. Why would the college write? Oh my gosh. That doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? I mean, who approves these articles? Really, seriously. Who approves these articles? Check Instagram again. Amanda, you are so funny. Let me see. Oh my gosh. That will go towards assisting our website. And we're not selling our panties on that website, guys. This is for our civil or constitutional rights to have that website up. Justice for All. Thank you for reminding me to share it. Let me see. Oh my goodness. I have a PDF. I'll email it to you. Okay. Sold. Who sold this? Oh my gosh. Wow. There are private dealers. Private dealers, private sellers, anonymous. You can also do messages and chat, worn panties, other clothings, private photo sets, WhatsApp and Skype chats. Oh, it's a gateway. It's a gateway, guys. Holy moly. Kind of like Madison Reed kind of vibe, right? Wow. And they've got pictures. Holy moly. Whoever went deep down this rabbit hole did a lot of work. Good freaking grief. I wonder if it does Panty GoFundMe. Come on, Phoenix. Let's see who can sell the most. Honey, my husband would be like, no. We have the Constitution. Y'all are making me laugh. Oh my gosh, I didn't think I was going down this rabbit hole. Oh my gosh. Yes, I was just about to say that, Betsy Ross. The feet thing is so gross too. Now, remember we talked about a little while ago the guy who sold the tape, and then obviously some other stuff was on. We watched that tape with Bernie. That was freaking wild. This is just as bad, if not worse. Oh my gosh. The amount of we can make, maybe could it be allegedly that maybe he was buying someone's underwear and found out who it was? I mean, I'm just saying, a shell corporation. Yeah, definitely could be. Grammy tea. Grammy. Let's plan a vacation, everyone. Oh, yes, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. You guys are on fire. What tape? Okay, so this guy on TikTok bought these pair of boots, right? Said that they were from a murder scene or bloody something. He gets them, and inside the boots that he buys, he opens it up on TikTok, and he's got a VHS video right? Then he's got to go find a player, and then he's watching this movie, and he puts this movie up on TikTok, and we're watching it, and Birdie and I are like, oh my God, it's like we're vomiting in our mouth. It was weird. But guys, people buy this stuff. They go out there. I needed a good laugh. They buy this stuff, bloomers for We're gonna have a fundraiser. No. You guys, this is not gonna be some side gig or a side hustle. Please don't spread this word. Okay. I can only hear it now. Phoenix has a GoFundMe for Brian Kohberger's Panty Foundation. No. No. Everything leads back to, yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you that. Yeah, the Schumann, that's the guy. Okay, so if you guys haven't seen him on TikTok, and I realize that some of you don't go to TikTok, the Schumann, he buys shoes from other places, and allegedly this was, I don't even see him anymore. Allegedly, the Schumann, I don't even see him. Hold on. He bought these shoes and tested them, and they tested for blood. Here it. Okay, this is the guy. I'm going to share this with you before I go.
Off the dark web, or I guess technically. All right, you know when I bought those shoes off the dark web, or I guess technically rented those shoes off the dark web, I think I recently learned why it was a rental and not a purchase. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, basically I found this site that was selling shoes on the dark web, but when I went to buy them, it gave me a duration for how long I was going to have them. And there've been a lot of people with different theories about why this might be, that maybe the guy was gonna like track me down and take them back, but I actually don't think it's that, hopefully. Now, if you were following me when I was posting all these videos, you know that when I got the shoes, they actually had a tracker in them. Now, I didn't know they had a tracker in them, so I brought them from the P.O. box where I ordered them to my house, and then later I got a package to my house. So I think I was being tracked. Now, after a bunch of other crazy stuff happened in that series that I'm not going to get into now, I learned that there are actually laws that protect people from being tracked without their consent. However,
okay, so that was the guy with the shoes. Somebody just said he's on YouTube. Also, he is on TikTok. His Thunder Keck. He's got like 1.9 million followers. He's got all this other stuff that he buys off the web. Dark web surprise. Yeah, it's kind of woo. So I just want to say, everybody, I appreciate you so much being here. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here. I really appreciate you all. We will go down the next rabbit hole together. We'll do a live dig. And I am having our first mod roundtable. Mods will be with me doing a roundtable. We're going to be talking about the Idaho 4. I'm going to have some more content coming in with my 2 books from Lacey and Scott Peterson case. And yeah, the site was rental. I don't think I'm going to rent out any underwear in the near future. I just don't see it happening. But do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, even if you've just come in or you're on your way out. Definitely share this with at least one person that you know. If 117 us share with one person, that means that we've just added so many more people and ask them to share too. Thank you so much, every single one of you. But on the way out, drop some hearts, drop some loves, and enjoy the rest of your night while you are going wherever you are. Be well, be healthy, and we will talk to you soon.
Listen close, we rise up from the ashes, digging for the truth, breaking old habits. We marching with the nesters, they laid the foundation, passed down revelation, sparked our motivation. In a world of facades, we peeling back the layers. Truth is the weapon that cuts through all the fakers. Phonets in our chest, reborn from deception. Eyes wide open, no room for misdirection. Every step we take, we honor the connection between past and present, forging our resurrection. Phoenix rises in truth, setting us free from the lies that they feed. We reclaim our beliefs, thinking differently. We'll break every chain. We dance for freedom, case by case, again, 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 again. We cultivate vision, planting seeds of awareness, challenge the narrative, break out of the harness, digging deep for knowledge, unearthing the hidden. Our minds are the soil where the future is written, no longer confined by the scripts they prescribe. We write our own story, let the real one subscribe. One voice becomes many, together we rally. Freedom's not a concept, it's a move and a tally. Case, we break the cage. Dark by dark, we shift the stage. Phoenix rises in truth, setting us free from the lies that they feed. We reclaim our beliefs, thinking differently. We'll break every chain. We dance for freedom, case by case, again, again. Rise up, speak out, watch the new world breathe.